It's The Log. I'm Charles Purcell. Yesterday, of course, winter solstice. We had a kind of a special episode. And today's day 2 of my own kind of personal holiday. I kind of tried when I was a parent of young kids. I had the idea that I would make it a 5-day event, starting with the 21st and then ending on the 25th, to honor my parents and their parents and their parents and their grandparents and the whole tradition of my family, who all celebrated on the 25th. And I did myself, especially as a child, and certainly I had fond and deep-rooted memories there. So I thought, okay, well, this will be nice. Here's what I'm going to invent. 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th. A 5-day holiday, multi-day holiday, kind of like Hanukkah. And I even went out and I found a candle holder, kind of like a menorah, but a 5-candle, 5 holders in one, like I say, kind of a 5-stemmed menorah. And my idea would be kind of like Hanukkah, to light a candle each night and make it a 5-night celebration. What a nice idea I thought that was. And I tried to start that, but again, it's kind of hard to start new traditions. Other people have to be on board. But I was thinking about that yesterday after the show, after you and I spoke. Maybe I'll do that again. I've long since lost that 5-candle menorah. I think I'm going to go out and search one of those down. As I recall, I found it in one of those stores. I forget, Bed Bath & Beyond, or the kind of stores that smell like fresh wood. And they sell candles and bedding, and everybody in there looks like a Karen. Yeah, I bet I could find one if I tried. Maybe I'll resurrect that little idea. So, yeah, this is day 2 of my 5-day winter celebration. Well, members of Congress are going to get to go home and celebrate with their families, with whatever traditions they choose or invent. Yeah, you're going to be hearing about this all day today, and it's going to take several days, weeks, to figure out what's in this bill. The COVID-19 relief package, final price tag wound up being $892 billion, down from $3 trillion, which was what the Democrats wanted just a couple of months ago. And when they introduced their $3 trillion package, the Republicans came back and said, no, $1 trillion will be enough. So that's where the negotiations started. We'll give you an idea of how negotiations go in Congress. They started with the two extremes, $3 trillion and $1 trillion, and then you fight for 6 months, and it winds up at $892 billion. How does that happen? Let's make these numbers more fathomable. Say you've got something you want to sell for $300, and somebody offers you $100. Okay, this is easier to fathom. All right, I'm asking $300. You're offering $100. Let the negotiations begin. Now, in the real world, the final number would wind up, I don't know, $200 maybe, give or take. If I start at 3, you start at 1, we start to dicker, okay, maybe winds up in the 2 neighborhood. No, in this case, I'm asking $300, you offer $100, and after the dickering, you wind up paying me $89. How does that happen? How does that happen? This is what I'm talking about. These are the Democrats. 1 step forward, 2 steps back, every damn time. In every election, in every floor fight, every nomination to the judiciary, whatever it is that the Republicans and the Democrats are dickering about, that's how it's going to go. 1 step forward, 2 steps back, every damn time. From $3 trillion down to $892 billion, when at one point they could have gotten another $100 billion out of it. Ay. And then, of course, in more unbelievable numbers, That doesn't even include the 1.4 trillion catch-all omnibus, everybody omnibus spending bill. So, and then add that to the 700 and what was nearly $800 billion defense bill they passed last week. Oh, the money is just flying. The money is just flying in Washington these days. Oh, and here's another number, and maybe the biggest number of them all. The bill, this bill, the catch-all end-of-the-year spending, which included everything and the kitchen sink, included with the COVID-19 relief. They did, in the end, wind up making one large bill. Get this, 5,593 pages. 5,593 pages. Absolutely blows past the previous record. Oh, where did I see that? Oh yeah, here it is in the AP story. The Senate Historical Office said the previous record for the length of legislation was the 2,847-page tax reform bill of 1986. So, let's see, from 28, I got to do math in my head again. Am I doing this right? Did they double it? Yeah, they just about doubled the previous record. 5,593 pages. That is just ridiculous. That's insane. After months and months unable to do anything, Congress, these guys earning their big fat paychecks, do nothing for most of this year, and then blast this thing out in the 11th hour. AOC tweeted, "Members of Congress have not read this bill. It's over 5,000 pages, arrived at 2 p.m. today, and we are told to expect a vote on it in 2 hours." Yeah, this was yesterday she tweeted this. It wound up passing finally in the wee hours last night. "This isn't governance, it's hostage-taking," she says. And, by the way, she continues, "it's not just members who need to see the bill ahead of time. You do. The public needs to see these bills with enough time to contact their rep to let them know how they feel. Members are reeling right now because they don't have time to consult with their communities." Of course. Yeah, this is not at all how government is supposed to work anywhere in the world, let alone the United States of America, supposed to be this great democracy. What a joke. Of course, the big headline stuff, $600 payments, down from $1,200 in the original CARES Act, so that's cut in half. Even so, Democrats had to fight like hell. And I'll say once again, which I repeat pretty often, don't ever give me this both sides thing. The Democrats are pretty pathetic, but at least they're fighting for you. You think the Republicans acting on their own would give you anything? No. Just enough in their calculations to get the vote in Georgia. They'd probably just give relief to Georgia Republican voters. So individuals getting $600 if you make less than $75,000 a year. So there's that. Extended unemployment, including that PUA for gig workers. Again, Democrats fought for that and got it. And once again, cut in half from last time. It was $600 on those extended benefits. Now it's $300. I think for only 10 or 11 weeks as compared to the original 16. So anyway, yeah, those are the big headline things that people were really interested in. The Republicans did not get their coveted liability protection for corporations, so another little victory there for the Democrats. But when it's all said and done, pretty much a win for the Republicans. Turtle Man Mitch McConnell points out that of that $890 billion, $500 billion or more is coming from money already allocated, just not spent. So if you look at it that way, it's really only about $350 billion of new money earmarked for COVID relief. So that $300 I was asking and the $100 you were offering, well, in the final negotiation after the dickering, that's now down to $35. I'm asking 300. You're offering 100. Dicker, dicker, dicker. $35 is what I wind up getting from you. Yeah, that's a beatdown, is what that is. Our boy Bernie was out there fighting for us. Thanks to Bernie, we got what we did get. We got the 600 individual payments. A family of 4, that winds up being about, because there's something for kids too. 500, I think, what is it for kids? Anyway, I think I saw the number 2,400 floating around. So $2,400 for a family of 4. I mean, they got us that much. Of course, other countries get that amount every couple of weeks. Twice that amount every month for the last 8, 9, 10 months. That's how it ought to be. Lock things down, make things safe, pay our bills. Let's get through this emergency together. Not like we can't do it. We could have done it if we wanted to. But the little that we did get, you can thank Bernie again. Thank the people really fighting. But I just can't get over this. Nearly 6,000 pages. And just everything under the sun, anything imaginable slipped into this thing. Good and bad. All of my arts friends are pretty excited. There's some relief for live theater. You may have heard of the Save Our Stages grants. That's a $15 billion chunk of this. Performing arts organizations, museums, talent representatives, theatrical producers, independent movie theaters. Yeah, pretty big chunks of money for performing arts. Now, of course, it gets very complicated. They're in the form of grants. So anybody with experience in nonprofits understands how that world works. So you have to apply for these grants. And so, yeah, it's a good thing. But it continues to be convoluted and complicated. And just like the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program, which, by the way, was also extended, $284 billion there. But yeah, the people who can figure this out, the people who know how to fill out the right forms, once you get all this money floating around, we've already seen from the CARES Act who gets it and who doesn't get it. You know, the folks with the best personnel, lawyers, and infrastructure kind of built into your business or nonprofit. You know how to navigate this kind of thing. They're the ones who get the money. We've certainly saw the aftermath from the first CARES Act. Professional sports teams and mega churches and Jared Kushner and Trump Organization, all sorts of people getting millions of dollars. You know, you got this Rube Goldberg system, and you got people who know how to work it. What do we expect? The House vote didn't happen until after 9 o'clock last night. Senators took them until midnight. I guess the Orange Menace is going to sign it today. Maybe he'll find one more way to throw a wrench into the works before it's all over. And yeah, getting back to the AOC tweet in anger. How the hell are you supposed to read a 5,500 plus page bill? And how's the public supposed to know anything about it? Any and every bill signed into law should be no more than 2 pages in a 12-point font, double-spaced, in plain language. Posted minimum of 3 weeks before the vote, online, and a hard copy in every public library that everybody can read and understand. And every bill should be a standalone bill on one item that everybody can understand and vote on, and that the public can understand and comment on and weigh in with their representatives. Yeah, these big catch-all bills, these omnibus bills, especially the ones cranked out at the very end of the fiscal year, insane. No way to do business. So in addition to the things we know about, the PPP, the unemployment, the direct checks, there's money for vaccine distribution, the kind of things you'd expect. No money for state and local governments because the Republicans wouldn't budge on that. Money for schools, money for healthcare providers, relief for renters facing eviction. I mentioned theaters and live performance, also a special carve-out for the restaurant industry. So the kinds of things you'd expect and the kinds of things we've been hearing about. Again, if I had my way, each of these items would be a standalone bill. We're paying our representatives to show up and work every day. People are supposed to show up and work, right? You show up every day and you work. Show up every day, argue the merits of individual bills, pass them or reject them, and move on. And then getting back to this ridiculous omnibus nature of the whole thing, $1.4 billion. Why am I laughing? $1.4 billion installment for the Orange Menace and his border wall. They have to have his signature on this thing, so that's what they throw him. Now, this I find confusing in the AP article. The Pentagon would receive $696 billion. Didn't they just get $740 billion a week ago in a separate bill? Are you telling me they're getting another $696 billion? How can this be? Am I reading this wrong? Is there something I don't understand here? That, with last week's bill, puts the Pentagon kitty up to about $1.4 trillion for this year. Is that right? Am I reading this right? Lord Jesus, Mother Mary, and Joseph. And then once they got going, they just got going. A 400-page water resources bill included in this whole big thing. $10 billion there. A whole bunch of tax breaks, including tax breaks for craft brewers, wineries, and distillers. You're going to see headlines about the 3 martini lunch. Corporate execs got that little write-off. $7 billion for broadband, $14 billion for transit systems, $1 billion for Amtrak, another $2 billion for airports. The SNAP program gets an increase of 15%. So, yeah, there's good and there's bad in here. But I'm telling you, every single one of these items should have been a separate 2-page bill that everybody could understand, everybody could read, and it could go up and down on its merits. This is no way to run a country. Like I say, it's going to take days and weeks to unpack this whole thing. There's also this thing, have you heard of this, the CASE Act? Honestly, I don't know anything about this. I've got to look into it. It's about copyright. Reading from Common Dreams, the CASE Act would create a quasi-judicial tribunal of copyright claims officers who would work to resolve infringement claims. As outlined in the bill, copyright holders could be awarded up to $30,000 if they find their creative work being shared online. The punitive provisions crammed into this enormous bill, warned Evan Greer of the digital rights group Fight for the Future, threaten ordinary internet users with up to $30,000 in fines for engaging in everyday activities such as downloading an image and re-uploading it, or sharing memes. So I don't know what's going on here. I got to look into this. And just, again, 1,000% inappropriate to jam something like this into a 6,000-page bill that nobody can read. This is not democracy. This is not how it's supposed to work, you guys. So we'll have to look into this. If you know anything about this so-called CASE Act, would you fill me in? I don't know what's going on here. Now, apparently, there's a huge portion of this bill, billions of dollars, to promote clean energy, wind and solar power, and sharply reduce over time the use of potent coolants in air conditioners and refrigerators that are considered a major driver of global warming. I'm reading now from the AP. The energy and climate provisions, supported by lawmakers from both parties, were hailed as the most significant climate change law in at least a decade. What? And a lot of people, Republicans, Democrats, environmental groups, a lot of people are saying, yeah, this is great. You know, if this is good news, great, good news. All right, okay, good, I guess. But should the largest climate change bill in a decade be slipped into an 11th hour, 6,000-page, trillion-dollar bill that nobody understands? This is not the way it's supposed to work. When it was all said and done, Bernie voted for this thing. AOC voted for it. Really no choice. Bernie tweeted his official statement, just basically vowing to keep fighting. Oh, this isn't nearly enough. I like the first comment under Bernie's tweet from Dr. Peacelove. Organize a coalition of Congress members to directly attack leadership of Pelosi and McConnell and demand retroactive $20,000 to every American for the last 10 months of stimulus denied. Hashtag our money. Hashtag general strike. Yeah. All right, Dr. Peacelove. There's a lot I like about that, actually. Yeah, general strike is something that people in other countries do occasionally, very effectively. We haven't seen a massive, effective general strike in this country for, 100 years. Yeah, if $20,000 sounds outrageous, it's not. As I mentioned earlier, every other country in the world with any money, the so-called developed nations, you know who I'm talking about, every last one of them, been giving regular monthly payments to their citizens. Got to get through this. Well, speaking of getting through this, I was watching some football over the weekend. Yeah, the Packers played Saturday night, so I watched some football Saturday night. Kind of had it on in the background on Sunday while I did some work around the house. And what really caught my eye was this Walmart commercial that kept playing. And their little tagline, well, first let me tell you, all the images in this commercial were family and friends getting together and celebrating the holidays. Together. No masks. No, it's in a world where COVID doesn't exist. All these families, extended families, friends, large groups, getting together, hugging, kissing, sharing food, all maskless. And their tagline, it's all essential. It's all essential. Meaning the love that we share as we get together over the holidays is essential. There's no mistaking the message here. Screw Dr. Fauci. Forget about all the advice we're getting from public health experts. Leave your mask at home. And I kept seeing this TV ad. It was in heavy rotation throughout the weekend, through all the football games. And then I began to notice, here's an ad for Bacardi. People partying in a nightclub and drinking together. No masks to be found. Here's one for something called Entyvio, some kind of drug or something. I'm not sure what it is. Again, multi-families together on some big camping trip, and they're all hugging, and they're all gathered tightly around the campfire. Oh, here's a U.S. Cellular ad. A bunch of people in a store talking to the latest Flow clone. Have you noticed? Everybody has to have a Flow now. Everybody has to have a young woman, a little bit nerdy. But yeah, they're all in there, maskless. And I began to sort of take note. Every commercial I saw. Here's one for Sonic, the fast food joint. We got a bunch of friends in a car together, going through the drive-thru. Friends in a car, obviously not from the same household. We got your standard football commercial, Miller Beer, bunch of bros in their man cave, watching football, drinking beer, cheering for the game, arms over shoulders, bro hugs, just having a high old time in their man cave. Maskless, of course. So when it comes to influencing the American public, what do you suppose has more power? A 4-minute segment with Dr. Fauci on a Sunday morning panel show? Or a barrage, an absolute blitzkrieg of fast-moving, colorful images, happy, beautiful people, enjoying life to a rockin' soundtrack? All the tricks that advertisers understand so well and expertly deploy to burrow into your brain every 15 or 20 minutes in living color and on high volume. What message is going to get across? Whose message here is more powerful, more effective? Another couple of minutes by the incoming Surgeon General on an FCC-mandated public affairs program? Or this steady stream of beer and burgers and smartphones and liquor and drugs crammed into your cranium by the all-time world experts at human psychology, influence, and propaganda. That is the American advertising industry. And then it's reflected in my social media. So many pictures of people getting together, maskless. I saw a whole bunch of folks in a bar. And you know how great the circulation is in a bar. And you know how many windows you're going to find in a bar. Oh, but there they are, having a great old time together. Oh, and they even had a little fundraiser for the needy. Oh, good for them. But let's all pose, cheek to cheek, maskless. I had another friend posted all about his trip, his flight from Florida to Milwaukee. Going to be visiting lots of family and friends here. Yeah, why not? What is wrong with us? What is wrong with us? We just can't do it. We just can't be adults. The 7-day rolling average is still close to 3,000 people per day dying. And here comes Christmas. Here comes more travel. Here comes more get-togethers. Convinced that we have to be liquored up and socializing with friends and families and eating ourselves into a stupor and documenting the whole thing on our latest smartphone. We just have to do it. Oh, and Walmart, their commercial that started this little conversation here, record profits, along with Amazon and some others. Walmart reporting record profits. Well, that's good. What's your rolling 7-day average for daily profits, Walmart? Let's put that number right next to the rolling average for COVID deaths. Walmart, Amazon. Yep, all the little public service announcements in the world, all the little panel appearances by public health experts. It's just a joke. They don't have a chance against the American ethos of runaway partying and consumption. And don't those advertisers just know that our deepest desire of all, even more than having their crap, is sharing it with those we love, being with our loved ones, hugging them at Christmas. They know what we need, what we desire, what we crave, and they willfully, knowingly, cynically exploit our pain, our yearning, to keep us on that treadmill. And if that's not bad enough, as it always has been bad enough, now you got this extra added element where the other message, just as powerful as bye, bye, bye. The message of, go ahead, get together, maskless, families, friends, hug, celebrate. You know you want to, you know you need to. How do these guys sleep at night? I don't know how they sleep at night. I honestly don't know how they sleep at night. All right, well, there's day 2. There's day 2 of our solstice to Christmas stretch here. Tomorrow will be day 3. Yeah, we'll have to come up with a new name for this holiday of mine. Little 5-day holiday, 21st through the 25th. If you have any good ideas, let me know. Look me up on the Facebook page, charlespurcell@gmail.com. Love to hear from you. All right, there's the log for today. I am Charles Purcell. I love you. Talk to you tomorrow.